easy. You know what I'm saying? I
Brother
didn't go like,
Shaka,
oh, yeah.
let me say this before I go. You are one of the most dangerous brothers in our community. Why? Because he has been listening for a long time, and when you say something, he's going to say, "Wait, but you said this on this day. Here's the video."
And he's going to have the
He is one of
documentation.
the most dangerous brothers in our community. And so I'm excited that you're here. I'm excited that Soneta's audience now knows about you. He was talking to me about Shaka. I thought he was talking about Shaka almost for a second. Because Soneta love him some Shaka Ma'at forever. So I'm just honored that now we have a more global. I know Rob Moore was kind of making a joke, but he was also making a comment. The reality is that this internet is going to allow Africans all over the world to connect on our interest, and that is powerful. That is powerful.
Yes.
I'm honored to be on. I promise I will communicate with you. I'm watching your shows ardently, Shaka. So whenever you would like me to come and chat with you privately or publicly, please let me know.
Yeah.
Okay?
Hotep Senu Hena Senut Iti Ren I Shakandugu Kemet. I hope there's no denial. You are happy like the Nile. The title of this live stream is Black Kem in ancient Egypt is like our black, said Dr. Bernard Mathieu. Now, Mathieu is what you pronounce Matthew, but you have the name written in the title. Let me check the sound quality. It sounds good on my end. However, at the end of the title, it says, in parentheses, I've actually changed the title just as I was about to go live. It says, Black of the Night. Here it is. In Kemet, black was the same as black as we use it today. And a PhD said that. Someone who has a doctorate degree in Egyptology, someone who's well known in Egyptology. So we've heard a few people talking about, oh, you know what I'm saying, the social construct, you know what I'm saying, we cannot apply it. It's over now. It's a done deal. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? because we have some people who cannot even translate one word, who try to act like they can teach you about the ancient culture. So let's get to the nitty-gritty. The person who wrote that, I'm going to share his Wikipedia page. Here you have the link in the chat. So in the English entry on Wikipedia, the people's favorite, we are told that Bernard Mathieu, born 11th of January 1959, is a French Egyptologist who was the director of the Institut Français d'Archéologie Orientale. Basically, it means, French Institute of Oriental Archaeology. Now, Oriental is like, Eastern, archaeology. From 1999 until 2005. Then you have a few of his work there. He actually translated the pyramid text of Pepi I. Anyway, then we have the French page for the record. As a matter of fact, I can just go there, go to French, and I'm sharing the link in the chat. You have it in the chat. And here it says that he was born on January 11, 1959 in a place called Avalon. He is a French Egyptologist. He participated in numerous archaeological missions on the temples of Karnak or at Saqqara. His publications are or touch on the language and literature, the Egyptian language and literature, about the pyramid text and pharaonic historiography. And he earned his doctorate in Egyptology in 1989. Andrea Bernard isn't the place to be. How are you? So now, I'm going to share the link where you can find this article. Boom, it's in the chat. So I will translate, of course, from French to English. It says, colors or the colors in the pyramid text. And it says further, an approach of the chromatic systems. In parentheses, it says investigations in the pyramid text, and then it says 2. So here we have his name. He is from the Institute of Egyptology called François Dumas. And here we are told about the University Paul Valéry in Montpellier. Bernard Mathieu is mentioned by James P. Allen in his book Middle Egyptian. On page 464, James P. Allen recommends that book for French speakers called Cours d'Égyptien hiéroglyphique, lesson of hieroglyphic Egyptian. And this book was written by Pierre Grandet and Bernard Mathieu. Now, Bernard Mathieu, you may remember the longest papyrus in the world or let's say the longest ancient Egyptian papyrus in the world, that book that some of you have contributed financially. So I have the 3 volumes. This one is Pierre Grandet. So that book that he's recommending, that James P. Allen is recommending, was written by both Pierre Grandet, who wrote about the Papyrus Harris, and of course, Bernard Mathieu, that we are dealing with primarily today. And for the record, I have already quoted from that book. This is the book cover. Once again by Bernard Mathieu and Pierre Grandet. On page 261, that's lesson 23, we have Ha'ek Aped Kem. Now we know what Kem means. Aped means bird, and in here we have back, as in go back, oiseau noir, which means black bird. Obviously, oiseau means bird, and noir means black. So, on this article written by this doctor in Egyptology, on page 26, this is what he wrote, dealing with the color black. Black, or literally the black in French, le noir. And he says that it is corresponding, or in other words, it equals our black. Notre means our. And then he says the Egyptian term kem, and he added literally sombre foncé. Now both those words are translated as dark in English, but if you want a synonym of sombre, you can look up gloomy, but really dark is the best word in English. Hold on. And still on the same page, 26. He wrote, this color will later describe, for example, the hair, les cheveux, of the pretty Mutirdis, priestess of Hathor. And he cites her hair. Now in English, hair is really plural. That's why it says R, son is like R. In English, of course, hair is singular, you know. You can have basically one piece of hair, un cheveu, and you have des cheveux. So, but it's a bit, I don't want it to be, you know, too technical, too complicated. Okay. So her hair is or are, depending on how you want to translate it, blacker, plus noir. It's like literally more black than the black of the night. Ses cheveux sont plus noirs que le noir de la nuit. And we have the transliteration. You may have heard me say that it's important to know the transliteration, because we don't have the glyphs right here, but we do have the transliteration. And we have Kem, chez nous S, Er, Kem, Ni, Gere, and then we have the rest. For the record, we have footnote 11 on that page. And we are told that this comes from a stela in the Louvre Museum, reference C100. And we are given a reference to a person called Yoyot. I'm probably showing you on Wikipedia, this person spoke sideways about Dr. Shekhar Diop, talking about Diop was not able to read a single hieroglyph. You know what I'm saying? But that person has passed away also, So on this publication, number 11 in 1989, and we are given also the pages. There's also apparently a plate 14. So you have the translation of what is of interest for us. Her hair is more black than the black of the night. So if some people want to play games and they don't want to use the word black and they want to use the word dark, fine. Black of the night. And this is the stele. Now, I'm sharing the link. So you have the link to the artifact on the Louvre Museum. Okay. Now, I was looking for the word black. I couldn't see it. And I started wondering, well, what's going on? Did Bernard Mathieu make a mistake with this artifact reference C100? Then I wonder, is it possible that the bottom part of the artifact has a different reference? And for the record, as I looked for this artifact, let me share that link also. You have the link here. I was shown this drawing made by Petrie. And on this link, at the bottom it says, as you can see here, drawing of the so-called poetic stele, Louvre C100, Louvre C100, depicting very likely the Theban ruler Menkeperre Ini. And it says the original work is at the Louvre Museum, third intermediate period, reference Jean Yoyot, Pharaoh Ini, and it says in French, un roi mystérieux, so a mysterious king of the 8th century before Jesus Christ. And we are given the same publication, number 11, 1989, and the pages that we are given is 113 to 131. And looking at this artifact, I also looked for the word black and I couldn't see it. For the record, this is the book by Petrie, and I'm sharing the link in the chat. It's available online on archive.org. You have the link right there. And the book is called A History of Egypt. So it is indeed by Flinders Petrie, and we can see that this is page 293, right? But I came across this picture, which is a bit better. And you have the link here. This is on Wikimedia Commons. The link is in the chat. And to my surprise, what looked like a loaf of bread to me, bread loaf, you know, garden reference X1. Well, you can see that this is actually a chem glyph. I never knew that we have the chem glyph looking so similar to the loaf of bread. You have those lines here. So if people want to argue that this is not the Kem glyph, then it means that Bernard Mathieu was wrong and that Jean Yoyot was wrong as well. I'm not saying that nobody can be wrong. So if this is Kem here, then it means that, and we will see that this one is also the Kem glyph, but it is damaged as we can see. So once again, I've shared the link to the Louvre Museum. And now this is what I thought was the bread loaf. As a matter of fact, we have a couple here. We have that one and we have another one just underneath. But we do have those lines there, so it is actually the Kem glyph. For the record, on James P. Allen's Middle Egyptian, we have some, let's say, vocabulary, some translations of different terms. On page 42, we have Kem, which is the adjective black. You remember some ISFET teacher who said that it was not demonstrated that Kem is an adjective, you know. Page 531, we have the word for hair, which is chenou or chenoui. So we have here chenou, and then we have chenoui. On page 61, we have the suffix pronoun, which is a third feminine singular, S. So it can be written with the folded cloth or ultimately with that glyph. But on the artifact, we do have the folded cloth, which stands for the sound S. On page 64, we have an example. Many of you know the word per, which means house. So we have per S, and per S is translated as her house. So literally we have house and then her. On page 521, we are told that N is a preposition. It can mean two, it can mean four. We also have ni, which can be translated as belonging to, and also of. Okay. Finally, on page 523, we have the R, which is a preposition as well. We are told to look up for ear, and the word for night is gere. On page 533, we do have the word gere, and we are told that it means night. Now that we have this vocabulary from that PhD, we can compare the original artifact in the Louvre Museum, and one more time for the record, I have shown the link, I have shared the link in the chat. So underneath the original artifact, there's the vocabulary that I've shown you, and I've given the page numbers, and we can see where those terms are on the original artifact. So here we have the Kem, here we have the chenou, which means once again hair. Then we have the S, the folded cloth, which is the suffix pronoun for her, third feminine singular. Then we have the preposition, the R. Then we have the Kem. Now, mind you, I did not say it, but many people who are familiar with the Medunetchet or hieroglyphic know that. Oh, we have Christopher Willis, who has an advanced level in the Medunetchet. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get something to drink. I'll be right back. I'm back. Let me just check the sound just in case. In parentheses, I've actually changed the title. Okay, sounds good. Now, Christopher Withers wrote, her hair is as black as the black of night and as grapes and figs. Now, it looks like maybe Christopher Withers is familiar with the French, but let me just finish what I was about to say. The owl is what here is what we call a phonetic complement. The owl is the sound M, but we already have the sound M with the chem glyph. So even if the owl wasn't written, it doesn't change anything with the pronunciation or spelling, and it doesn't change anything with the meaning or translation. Now, so on the original artifact, we have the chem glyph here and also here, and right after the chem glyph, we have the owl right there. Okay. Now, just going back regarding Christopher Withers' translation, he basically translated, you see here it says, ses cheveux, here, ses cheveux sont plus noirs que le noir de la nuit. Then we have a comma, and then it says, then the grapes and the, now I'm not sure how you call fig in English. Just want to verify how you call it. Well, indeed, fig. So in English, it will be spelled just like Christopher Withers wrote it. Okay. Now, let's go back. Okay. So once again, we have chem, which means black, chenu, which means hair, third feminine singular suffix pronoun, which stands for her, the S, the folded cloth, which stands for the sound S. Then we have the R, which is a preposition. Then underneath, we do have the chem again. I also didn't say, but people who are familiar with the glyphs know that on this original artifact, the Medunecher or hieroglyphic is read from right to left. The Medunecher can be read from left to right and also from right to left. Here it is read from right to left. Then we have the preposition en or ni. And finally, we have gere, which means night. And if you want to see the quote-unquote translation, or let's say transliteration, on the other artifact, which looks slightly clearer, the picture basically is a bit closer, you have it there. So here you see the quote-unquote lines better. So this is not, once again, the loaf of bread. Here we do have the loaf of bread, but with those quote-unquote lines there, this shows us that this is actually the chem glyph. I have never seen a chem glyph looking like this before. So now I'm going to be a bit more cautious in the future, because I was familiar with chem glyph looking like this here or like this, though you can have some variations that it doesn't exactly look like that all the time, but mainly that's what it looks like. Anyway, that being said, then we have the word for hair, which is chenu. Then we have for the cloth, which is the S. Then we have the preposition R, and then underneath we have the chem. Once again, the chem is with the phonetic complement of the R, which stands for the sound M. Then we have the N, and we have gere, which means night. Now, Christopher Withers wrote, the first chem is a predicate adjective and the second chem is a noun. Neither here are descriptive adjectives. Well, I'm not sure what you mean here, but for the record, right there, we have chem, adjective, black. Now this is from James P. Allen's Middle Egyptian, and it is on page 42. right here. So if people want to argue whether it is an adjective or not, they are free to do so. I don't mind if people disagree with me and with what I'm presenting. What's for sure, I don't think that anybody will disagree that it means black. That's how Bernard Mathieu translated it here on page 26 of this publication. And I don't know if you were there from the beginning, Brother Christopher, with us, but I have shared, this is the link to this article. So some of you may know some French speakers. Feel free to ask them if what I said was correct or not. I've made mistakes in my life before, and I really have no problem just stating for the record publicly whenever I made a mistake. So I'm very comfortable. French is my mother tongue, so I'm very, very comfortable. But people should not take my words for face value. Feel free, everybody, to ask any French speakers that you know if what I said was correct or not. And we have seen that some ISFET teachers, some ISFET / ISFETU people have claimed that they have some friends who translated a French book into English, and the book is about 500 pages long. And we have seen, when I just asked how long it took to translate that book, how I was disrespected and told that I'd have comprehension issues and so on. And you know what? Since I mentioned the term ISFETU, there's this book by this PhD right there. We have someone with a long username who wrote, "I finally made the live What Up family." As a matter of fact, I was doing live streams about Medunecher, but on TikTok, you know, they suspended me for a few days. So I will have the availability to use the studio on September 2nd. I can use my mobile phone, but it's a bit annoying. I have the tripod and all that, you know what I'm saying? And I prefer the studio. So, you know, later on, I may, you know, deal with the Medunecher again on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. But anyway, there's this book by a person called Laura Paris, and it says the Egyptian. Oh, I want to see how you translate tourment in English. It's going to be easy to translate that. Okay, so I guess you can use the word turmoil. The Egyptian, which is in a state of turmoil. It's difficult to translate word for word, you know. Now, he wrote, "This is me, Rossetti." Well, apparently we communicated before, but you know, I have no recollection at this point. But maybe if you tell me some communication that we had, I may recall. So she's basically talking about the concept of Isfet in the literature labeled pessimistic literature of ancient Egypt. Now we have Nebamun in the book cover, and I've shown Nebamun. It's in the British Museum. This artifact is in the British Museum. Now we have his wife right behind him. And their daughter just underneath him. Now for the record, we are used to seeing the woman lighter, but here his wife is darker than him, and his daughter is darker than him. He's called Nebamun. And as a matter of fact, I'm just going to share a link to the British Museum so you can see. But that book, oh my goodness. But you know, scholars, particularly PhDs, they've worked meticulously. Many of them speak several languages, contrary to you Isefetiu people who only speak one language and cannot even translate a single word in the language that they claim to be teaching, right? There's about 30 pages in the biography, in the bibliography, sorry. But anyway, that being said, let me just share the link. Nebamun. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna add British Museum. There was a PDF in the British Museum, but I want you to see the artifact. There it is. Neb Amun painting, British Museum. Here's the link in the chat. And here's the artifact that you've seen on the book cover. There it is. It's sharing well. Yes, it is. So we have Neb Amun here. We have his wife behind him. See that? And their daughter right underneath. So some people talk about red ancient Egyptians. Anyway. Okay. So I think we are reaching the end of the slide. So we have seen the different words. So what say you, Christopher Withers? Are you saying that came here is not an adjective? Whether or not it's an adjective, do you agree with the translation of black? Now, for the record, that book, Cours d'Égyptien hiéroglyphique, this is a picture that I've taken myself. So Christopher Withers agrees with the translation of black, if I understand his answer correctly. I took a picture, but for the record, you can see that I have that book. It's about 800 pages long, for the record. So that's the book by Bernard Mathieu and Pierre Grandet. And on page 647, we have here Memi, which is a given name, and then we have Kem. This time Kem is written without the phonetic complement of the owl, and the owl once again is the sound M. Now Christopher Withers wrote, black is a good translation. And finally we have the determinative of the seated man. It has no phonetic value here. So here we have the transliteration. We even have the references. PN1, so basically it's one of the pyramid texts. Probably the one of Neat, but don't quote me on that. And no, actually, no, my bad. No, this is not the pyramid text here. This is, if I'm not mistaken, it's a book by Henke. Now, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but the surname is written this way. If I go to the list of abbreviations, yes, indeed. Oh no, actually, I made a mistake with the name. It's H, and then it's I'm not sure the pronunciation, because it's like Germanic. If it's not German, then it's like some Germanic type of language, but it's H. Ranke. The book is called Die Ägyptischen Personennamen, and we have 3 volumes. Okay. But anyway, and that's why it's good to double check. So we have the transliteration, we have the reference, and here we have the translation. So Memi, the black, Memi le noir, Memi the black. So this PhD in Egyptology, this doctor in Egyptology, has translated a given name And then the term came as black, Memi the black. For those who may wonder, Bernard Mathieu is not African-centered. He is not Afrocentric. I wonder who's going to label him. What is the term that they were using? Blackologist. Or claiming that he is dealing with, anachronistic or anachronism, or however you want to pronounce it. I don't think people would say that, because those terms that several people have used, blackologist, anachronist, and all, they use those terms for black people. They don't use those terms for white people. It seems to me like they have an inferiority complex. And of course, I am not claiming that Bernard Mathieu is of the opinion that the ancient Egyptians were black. I don't know Bernard Mathieu personally. I'm dealing with the grammar of the Medu Neter. I'm dealing with the translation of the Medu Neter or hieroglyphic. So that's one case here. Hold on, what's that here? Just one moment. Oh, thank you very much, Brother Christopher. I received your $15, what is it called again? Cash App. I appreciate that. It's very well appreciated, brother. Thank you so much. As a matter of fact, lately I wasn't getting much donation. Well, wasn't really getting donations like that, but, thank you. I appreciate that. The other day, brother Danny Williams, he gave me a super chat. That's on the YouTube. For those who wonder, people can make a donation directly in the chat on YouTube. It's called super chat or super sticker. Now, Gant ain't taking no loss from Suckers Road Shaka with the checkmate. Well, it is a dagger for many people, because many people have said, oh, I'm saying, you cannot use a social construct, modern social construct, and apply it to some ancient time. 3,000 years ago / 4,000 years ago in Kemet or ancient Egypt, when the term Kem, meaning black, was used, is the same as the way we use black in modern times. Am I the one who said it? A PhD said it. A doctor in Egyptology said it. So it is indeed a dagger and a checkmate for many people, but we know those people. They like to do quote-unquote friendship scholarship, and they feel like if they repeat their falsehood, their isafet enough, then people will buy it, right? To each his own, is their world. Now, many times I quoted James P. Allen in his Middle Egyptian on page 5, and we have Henenit the Black, and he showed the line drawing of the original. This is not the original right there. This is the line drawing, and here we have Henenit Kem. So 2 different books, 2/3 different PhDs, because this book once again was written by 2 Egyptologists, one called Bernard Mathieu, the other one called Pierre Grandet. And they have both translated someone who had Kem after his given name. The first example we've seen was someone called Memi, and the second example is someone called Henenit. And after their name we have Kem, and it means the black. And they, now for those who don't know, James P. Allen is not black, he's not African centered, he's not Afrocentric, just for the record, right? They have translated it as the black. So let's see who's going to label James P. Allen a blackologist. And of course, several times I did mention this book called The Rock Tombs of Mer, and I'm sharing the link right now in the chat. I'm sure I shared it before. Now, he is called Black Man, but he was not a black person. That's just his name. I think there's 2 N at the end of his name. Oh no, there isn't. Good thing I checked. So here's the link in the chat. Now, this book is called The Rock Tombs of Myrrh. This is part 1 or volume 1, and on page 9 we do have Niank Pepi Kem. We have Niank here, then we have Pepi, which is the name of the ruler or the Nesu or the pharaoh or the king. And then we have Kem right there. And how did Black Man translate? He wrote Niank Pepi the Black. If people want to label him a blackologist, they can feel free. Now, Gaunt Ant with Taking No Loss wrote, this is a big checkmate. Sorry, this is a big checkmate. You never hear people talking about this. We all learn every day. I learned something today about that Kem glyph, which looks like the loaf of bread, but this is a big dagger. This is a big dagger for a lot of people. Now, he wrote, hold up, I got to share this. Now, we also have here Happy Kem, and it's translated Happy the Black. And for the record, on page 10, Black Man translated Henenit Kem, just like James P. Allen on page 5 of his book Middle Egyptian, but also we have Henenet Kem, and we can see that he translated Henenet the Black, right? So we have Henenit Kem, Henenit the Black, then we have Henenet Kem, and it says Henenet the Black, and finally we have Heneni Kem, and he translated Henenit the Black. And I think that's my last slide. It was my last slide. So if somebody wants to say what's up, ask a question, or make a comment, whether you agree or disagree, feel free. I share the link, and if there's nobody, then I call it a day. But I'm very glad to share this with you all, brothers and sisters. So here's the link to get on the panel. I'm telling you, this book right there, I'm telling you, I mean, I have so many that I'm going through. Like I told you, there's this one that I'm going through, but then I have so many others that I want to go through. But that one, I saw it a while ago. As a matter of fact, you know what? I went to this library that has mainly books about Egyptology. I wanted to purchase the pyramid text, actually by Bernard Mathieu. Bernard Mathieu. And he had the transliteration and translation, but he didn't have the pictures. There's another book by another Egyptologist, a female, Christopher Withers wrote, who said Kem cannot mean black? Isfet Ujau. Isfet Ujau said that Kem is a title. And for about 3 hours, he could not demonstrate that it is a title. And then he said, when I told him that he failed to demonstrate that Kem is a title, he said, just like you haven't demonstrated that Kem is an adjective. But for the record, I'm going to share the link in the chat. Here's the link in the chat. Kem is a title, said Ujau and Asaim Hotep. Magic Medu nature at work. Now, Of course, Ujao may say, "Oh, I wrote in the chat that black is acceptable as a translation," but he's freestyling because he's on tape saying that Cam is a title. Because what they like to do is say, "Oh, Cam, you know what I'm saying, Now, Christopher Withers wrote, Ujao said it cannot mean black. When we had Black Man's book, The Rock Tombs of Myrrh, it was page 9 and 10, wasn't it? Now, I don't remember from the top of my head which pages we've seen because we had several articles, but I'm quite confident that we dealt with Neon Pepe Cam. And we dealt with some other names, other Shen or Shenu, other cartouche, right? And in this link, you will hear Brother Christopher Withers, Isfet Ujau, and Isfet Asaim Hotep. You will hear both those Isfetiyu claiming that Kem is a title. I don't make stuff up. People know me. People know how I get down. I don't lie on people. I don't make stuff up. Then to take it further, they were talking about, oh, their skin's not black, but their hair's black. And many times people heard me say, well, usually black people, right? We don't see many black people whose skin is as black as their hair. The only reason why they are bug dancing and freestyling is because of their claim that Kemet means riparian land / riparian country, those Riparianites, right? So in their endeavor, they are trying to change grammar, which is the magic Medunecha. Now, Gaunt and Taking No Loss wrote, is Wisfet Wujau the same dude who was plagiarizing people's work in his book a while ago? I was told he admitted that he plagiarized, That's what I was told. Isfet Asaim Hotep, I have no recollection of him admitting that he plagiarized, but for those who don't know, I can share that video, and it's not me who dealt with that. It's people from a crew called Team Osiris. Isfet Asaim Hotep have plagiarized several books in several languages. See, Isfet Uja, I was told he plagiarized, just from James P. Allen, just one book, just one passage or whatever. I forgot if it was a sentence or a paragraph, you know what I'm saying? But I was told that he owned up to it, you know what I'm saying? But here's the link. Isfet Asaim Hotep, serial plagiarizer. Team Osiris have detailed the countless plagiarizing of Isfet Asaim Hotep. But then you have clown Isfet Emiket, butt kissing, a serial plagiarizer who said that Allah is in the Egyptian text, who said that Allah is an indigenous African god, and who said that the English word fly comes from the Meduneter or hieroglyphic Kheper, that most people pronounce Keper, right? So we have Isfet Emiket along with Isfet Uja, who are butt kissing a serial plagiarist or plagiarizer who is pseudo to the bone, who false claimed being a historian, who false claimed being an anthropological linguist, And they have the nerve to disrespect people who disagree with their pseudo claims. However, hold on. He wrote, I bet they used to be Moors. Isfet Uja was somehow, someway a Moor. He was a member of the United Nubian Nation of Moors. He was once a follower of Malachi York. He worked on the defense of Malachi York until somehow, someway he realized that, it's better to move to other endeavors. The Nubians were Moors. It's in the title. It's in the name of their organization. United Nubian Nation of Moors. So, on top of their claims of Kemet, meaning riparian land / riparian country, there is this background of Isfet Uja being a Moor, and we know that Moors have a big problem using the term black for countless reasons. And this Isfet Uja, being an anachronist, right, had the nerve to go live publicly and claim that he would never use the term black for the ancient Egyptians because black is an inferior status. And I'm paraphrasing at this point because you know how they are, But I've played that already, People know how I get down. I back up what I say. This is anachronistic because during the time of Kemet, 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, black was not an inferior status. Rulers of foreign nations, rulers of neighboring nations, Asian people or Asiatic rulers sent their daughters. Asian kings, Asiatic kings sent their daughters to marry the black African ancient Egyptians. And this is documented in the Amarna letters. There's plenty of books about the Amarna letters. We have the names of the rulers, of the kings, and we have the names of the daughters that were sent to marry the ancient Egyptian rulers. And I can give some, a few names, Christopher Withers wrote, riparian is a satisfactory description for Kemet, the toponym. Is there an Egyptologist, and let's be specific, is there a doctor of Egyptology? Is there someone who has a PhD in Egyptology? Whoever translated Kemet as riparian land or riparian country? I'm asking, I'm not saying it's not the case, I'm just asking. Because Isfet Uja, when I asked him, how many scholars agree with his claims, how many PhDs, he said less than 10. See, those people are very, very strange. It's better to say less than 10 than to say 1 or 2 or 0. Now, Gunt and Taking No Loss wrote, York followers are some messed up people. Well, there's good and bad everywhere. So, looking for some names. Okay. Amana. There it is. So I'm going to share. Is there a view? View. How do you do again for the? Oh, never mind. I make it larger. So let me share this. So in the book, The Royal Woman of Amana by Al Green, on page 14, we are told about foreign queens. And it says, as we can see, Amenhotep III and Akhenaten contracted diplomatic marriages with Babylonian and Mitannian princesses, as did their predecessors. So it wasn't only Amenhotep III, and for those who may not know, that's Amenhotep III behind me from the Louvre Museum. I've shared the link many times, so people can just go on any search engine and type Amenhotep III. But you know what? Sharing is caring. Is the link. Amenhotep III at the Louvre Museum. Christopher with us, brother. If you have no answer, it's fine. I was just asking a question, you know. To your knowledge, is there any Egyptologist, and when I say Egyptologist, you know, to be specific, someone who has a doctorate degree or PhD in Egyptology that have translated Kemet as riparian land or riparian country? To my knowledge, there isn't any, but I may learn today or tomorrow. That being said, this is Amenhotep III right here. This is Akhenaten's father. This is King Tut or Tutankhamun, grandfather. So it wasn't only Amenhotep III and his son Akhenaten who married princesses from Babylonia and Mitanni, but their predecessors did the same, according to L. Green. These princesses will probably have been honored with their own estates and perhaps temples to the Aten, but their place within the royal hierarchy was circumscribed because of their foreign origin. As members of foreign royalty, they were not elevated to the position of king's chief wife, but behind the scenes they would have exercised whatever influence they had. Now, Christopher Withers wrote, I don't need an Egyptologist for this, but I do know some who did not disagree. Well, you know what? When it's in writing, you don't really know, but I'm sensing some tension. I respect Christopher Withers. He has a high level of the meta nature. So I don't want any confusion or misunderstanding. You don't have to answer, it's fine. It's fine. To my knowledge, there is not a single Egyptologist who translated Kemet, the toponym, as riparian land or riparian country. If we want to take into consideration the claims of plagiarists and pseudo people who claim that Kem is a title but cannot demonstrate that, just like Isfet Ujau, 3 hours, and he used Pascal Vernus, not the book that I'm showing, but the book Athribis, right? He also claimed that some friends of him translated nearly 500 pages of the French book Athribis from French to English, but when he's asked how long it took them to translate it, he cannot answer. He is a pathological liar, but it's fine. People have the right to support him and defend him, right? But he brought up Pascal Vernus' book Athribis in order to demonstrate that Kem is a title, and he failed. And he had the nerve to say that it was not demonstrated that Kem is an adjective. I've already shown James P. Allen, and he wrote that Kem is an adjective. Now, Christopher Withers added, as a matter of fact, well-known one who books you read agree. I know this firsthand. The expected mean probably is meaning that he meant, but anyway, he wrote the expected mean is still black/dark. I'm okay with this. Water, dark, wet, lush, all go together. Yeah, but I have no name. I have no reference, So, are you saying that there is an Egyptologist who translated the toponym Kemet Here it is. Christopher Withers, are you saying that an Egyptologist translated the toponym Kemet as riparian land/country? Now, people can, add zone/area. They are free. But mainly, have they used riparian in their translation of Kemet? I mean, have they? Has he? And who is it? If that's the case, who is this Egyptologist and where can I see that translation? Anyway, let's continue here. Here we have one name. Christopher Withers wrote in dictionaries, no. Well, out of curiosity, even if it's not in a dictionary, we have grammar books, and we have also, different writings. You're very familiar with that. Our brother Christopher Withers has a master's degree in chemistry, if I'm not mistaken, right? So there's publications, in different journals, right? So if there is a writing available, feel free to give me the reference, Is there a writing publicly available, whether it's an online article or article available online, or even if it's a book, even if it's not available online, where we have an Egyptologist who translated the toponym Kemet with riparian, then I'm interested. Now, Christopher Withers wrote physics. Send James P. Allen an email. I think you will be amazed. Brother, I appreciate the support and everything else, but as you know, I'm studying, Egyptology. I have a lot of books to read. Riparian is not my claim. I'm not the one who have to demonstrate that, so. But I have already emailed Dr. Peter J. Brand. He has not responded. I've also emailed Dr. Jonathan Winnerman. He has not responded. So I'm cool. I don't have a question. I don't have any questions for James P. Allen, right? But it seems like I have my answer. It seems like there is no publication of an Egyptologist who translated the toponym Kemet with the word riparian. But maybe somebody will. Maybe somebody has, but we don't know who it is. We don't know the publication, and maybe somebody will tell us. Now, we have one name here. Now, Christopher Withers wrote, no, it does not exist. I had a feeling, but you said it. So, there it is. Now, for the people who support the Riparianites, you have seen not only me, but so many people who substantiate what they say by giving references. Not just names of scholars, but the publication, the page numbers, and many times they have actually showed the quotation or citation. But those Isefetiu Riparianites, you have to take their words for it. As a matter of fact, just a few days ago, Isfet Ujau said that Kem being a title, everybody and their mama knows this. He's on tape saying everybody and their mama knows this. With Kem being a title, Kem after a name, like we have seen for Henenit Kem on James P. Allen's Middle Egyptian, like we have seen also on Blackman's, what is it called again? Rock Tombs of Mer, is it? The Rock Tombs of Mer, indeed, part 1 or volume 1. And as we have seen also in Bernard Mathieu and Pierre Grandet's book, Cours d'Égyptien Hiéroglyphique, I believe it's on page 647, where we have Memi Kem, and it's translated as Memi le Noir, which in English is Memi the Black, right? So Kem after a name, Isfet Uja said that it's a title. Kem after a name is a title, and everybody and their mama knows this. So if some people appreciate the Riparianites, the RIP Arianites, where you can help them with this advice of backing up what they are saying with scholarship, with data. Christopher Witherspoon, be careful. Can I get your email? I will send a PhD thesis on chem being a title. Of course, you can have my email, but it's in the description. But I put it there. Now, in the description of my videos, that's what it says. You have my email address, and I added, email for Medonetter, hieroglyphic lessons only. But of course, feel free, Brother Christopher Withers, and make sure to copy and paste it, everybody, because that will avoid any mistake. It's quite atypical. There's 3 S's, BOSSSTYLYX at msn.com. So it's best to copy and paste it. So one of the name is Gilu Khipa. Gilu Khipa. Mitanni or Naharin in western Mesopotamia was among the most important allies of the Egyptians during the reign of Amenhotep III. Gilu Khipa, the daughter of Sultana II of Mitanni. So we have the name of the girl, the princess that was sent to marry the Kemetic or ancient Egyptian ruler. We have her name, we have the name of her father. She was sent to Akhenaten's father, so that's Amenhotep III, as a bride in the 10th year of his reign. We have name, date, and places. We have the name, Western Mesopotamia, Mitanni or Naharin, and we even have some chronological time frame. Name, dates, and places. Many times I told you, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, her impressive entourage is mentioned in his commemorative scarabs. Afterwards, he seems to have disappeared from view and is not mentioned again until the negotiations for the marriage of her niece, Tadu Khipa, took place. And here, Tadu Khipa, we are told, in the closing years of the reign of Amenhotep III, yet another Mitannian princess was sent to Egypt, the daughter of King Tushratta. Tadu Khipa is referred to in letters, from Mitanni as the mistress of Egypt, that is, the queen. She is mentioned in the cuneiform Amarna correspondence until the 4th year of Akhenaten's reign, and some scholars identify her as Kiya, Akhenaten's secondary consort. So some people are anachronistic or anachronist because of their ideology or doctrine, not to say agenda. They don't deal with history from a scholastic perspective. And as a matter of fact, whenever you have somebody boot kissing a dude who claims that Allah is in the Egyptian text and that Allah is an indigenous African god, you know by default that person is pseudo. But to each his own. That's their world. So I've shared what I wanted to and more. If nobody wants to get on the panel, then I guess we can call it a day. So I'm sharing the link once again, just in case somebody wants to say what's up. And then I can call it a day if nobody says something. So you can participate in the chat or get on the panel, it's up to you. But I'm very happy. But indeed, man, this book, oh my goodness, But there's many others. There's many others that I have to go through, what I'm saying. The Living Wisdom of Ancient Egypt. This book, there's so many I started, I did not finish, but I started that book by Jan Assmann about Ma'at, that one was translated in French. Now this one, I don't even think I started that one, but about Manetho, what I'm saying, and like I've shown you this, that one I started it, Len Shabazz about his time in the NOI, then Paul Guthrie, the one who made the video Get on Board the Wheel, you know. He had a book. Bernard Mathieu, for those who know her, lived in ancient Egypt. And that one will probably be interesting. Claude van der Slayen, I'm sorry about the pronunciation. Egypt in the Time of Moses. And this one will probably be interesting as well. Text, artifact, and image revealing ancient Israelite religion. Edited by Gary M. Beckham and Theodore J. Lewis. But that's just a few of, you know, the so many books I had that I'm gonna go through. There's hold on, I'll put that back in order. There's so many that I have purchased, and there are ebooks, some Kindle format, some PDF format. So there's a lot of things that will be shared, you know. When I got that book about Isfet, I also got that one. So, you know, Tomb of Hat of the 18th Dynasty in Western Thebes. Now it's by Imani Hussein Ali Atiyah. And there's going to be a fair bit of text that we will be able to go through. We're going to cover quite a fair bit. That one is in French, but you know, there's so many others. So many others. The Collector's Eye, masterpieces of Egyptian art from the Thalassic collections. I haven't started that one. And of course, I've already shared quite a fair bit from that one. The Painters of Ancient Egypt by Nadine Cherpion. There's going to be a lot that we will cover. The ops have been annihilated. The ops have been pacified. I'm chilling like a mofo. Now, Christopher Withers wrote, I will send it to you tomorrow. It's on my desktop at work. Thank you. So stay safe, stay healthy. If I'm allowed to buy the Necheru, I will definitely holler back at you. I don't argue, I state facts. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If you do not think right, you will not act right. If you know better, you will do better. Dua itu, dua Necheru, ho tep.
Here's Brother Chris. So feel free to make your closing remarks, brother.
Hey, once again, Brother Shaka, thanks for coming on. I've been a fan since I first saw you, man. What was the video called?
White Semites Black Awakening.
That's right, White Semites Black Awakening. Still, it has not been debunked. It actually, when I think I saw that 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I saw your videos 3 years ago. It really made me step up my scholarship and begin to read. I'll be taking me a trip next year into Kemet to see everything for myself, besides studying it. One of the things that's very exciting about your videos is you're actually in there teaching. You're actually showing.
All right, peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another Sonetta TV House of Consciousness production. You already know what it is. This is your brother Sonetta. I am your host, and I'm bringing in another heavy hitter. You brothers and sisters better be ready. When we build this wall, this Kemetic wall, oh my God, ain't nothing stopping. We bringing in another young brother. He's a scholar. You one leave, 5 more come in. Reggie leave, 5 more come in. You know what I'm saying? Garfield leaves and turn his back on Kemet, 10 more come in. We already got Chris Harris. We bringing in another brother who is awesome, who is powerful. I would say I don't know, between him and Jabari, I would say they probably right here until I see the brother's work and ethic, and if he can handle the ring, getting in or the battlefield or whatever, anybody that come at him, if he can deal with that pressure, I think he can because he's killing. And so without any further ado, I bring to you my brother, Shaka, in the building. What's up, Shaka? He runs the channel of Ma'at Forever. So if y'all are aware of that, make sure you go and subscribe to Ma'at Forever channel. Go over there and show some love for our brother. Peace and black power to you. Hotep. Shaka, what's happening, man? Unmute yourself.
Hotep Sen-E Sanera,
Yeah.
thank you for the invitation. I just want to greet the people as I usually do. Hotep Senu, Hena Senut, Iti, Ren Isha Kandugu Kemet. I hope you're doing well. Bonjour, Sak Passe, Mbote, all that good stuff.
Damn, don't y'all hear that? Don't that sound beautiful to your ears, man, right there? Just to hear him go in on that. I know he dealing with knowledge, man.
Ne pas. Sak Passe qui j'en ouye.
Ça passait? Que j'en ai?
Moins bien, moins bien.
All right. D'accord. D'accord. Mon ami, I want to tell you thank you. I saw you a while ago. And I saw you last year, and I told Sonetter, I think he was just so overwhelmed, but I was like, there's this brother. He speaks French. He goes in on the metanetter. So I did mention you, but I'm glad to get on here and ask you.
Yeah, I do. Remember.
Right. So,
but what y'all failed to do, knowing what this platform is about, you failed to bring scholarship. You failed to bring your sources. And this is why I have to give it to my brother Shaka. He held it down. He kept asking you, where's your source? All you doing is talking.
A lot of comments, 100 comments.
Yeah, we live right now, man. Great interview yesterday, man. You made a lot of people cry. A lot of people got mad at me. I called my brother Garfield up twice. He ain't pick up the phone. I was like, damn, bro. I texted him. I said, Garfield, pick up the damn phone. Brother, it's all right, man. My brother ain't pick up, man.
DF Peret Heru Ka Aped Menechet and Alabaster and yes, indeed.
Right, and then it's the
incense,
right, natural
oil.
Yeah. Okay, great. So you are competent, right?
But yeah, imaki her nebet.
Yeah. So that's why listen, man. That's why I'm on your show, and that's why I'm talking to you. So then we go on and nature, and then we got Nkain, right? The ka
off, yes.
Right, the Imaki,
Senusret.
Yeah, Useret.
That the Greeks call Sesostris.
That's right.
And then we have Aheru, justified or true of voice.
So you're a priest. You more priest than them.
I appreciate the class, the metanetric class. It's awesome. Thank you very much. You're a heck of a teacher, man. When we're in class, man, it's a lot of fun, and you have a lot of information to share, and you teach very, very well. And that's coming from someone who hadn't been in school for years, and taking for what you do, man, and for that time that we have is amazing. So, and thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Dua Sen, thank you very much. Well, yes, brothers and sisters, if anybody want to take some lecture classes, I have one of the most affordable fee. It's basically $10 an hour. You know, so you have the email address here. Yes,
get a lot of information for that hour. You really, really do get a lot of information. You get text for each class, man. You get transcripts so you can study in on your own time. Come back with questions, things like that. And just and if we need to slow it down, we'll slow it down, and they allow me to ask as many questions as I need. And he's a really, really excellent teacher, man. Shout out to you, bro.
Fact that I have a reference, the stuff that you've given me, like the flashcards and everything, that I have, and I keep them, and they're mine. I can go over them whenever. And then to look at the meta nature and to know that even still I can pick out, a good bit of them now and get a context of what's being said, even if I don't know some of the glyphs or whatever, that I've come a long way. I never would have thought I would ever learn the meta nature. I never knew I would find out it was named that's what it was called. I would have been going around, semi-informed, semi-ignorant, calling it hieroglyphics still. And then also, people should support if they don't want to take the classes, maybe they're busier than I am, but I mean, just support it. Like you said, just make donations when they come on, and the whole fact that you've done so much research into like the origins of things.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving meta nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first meta nature class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other meta nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had ever. So if you're interested in learning the meta nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is interested in learning the meta nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.